As scientists and researchers race towards a vaccine for the coronavirus, there are concerns over the rush to announce the world's first COVID-19 vaccine, as scientists think this could lead to a rollout of an inferior drug that just might be unsafe for people. This is the focus of our show tonight, and it comes up right after the current numbers of infections, deaths and recoveries. The global infections have crossed the 25 million mark, and it is still on the rise. It is currently at 25,245,930. The deaths are 846,851, while the recovered cases are 16,633,200. And as for the top 5 cases, the U.S. is still in the lead with over 5.9 million cases, and Brazil is second with over 3.8 million infections. In India, there are 3,621,245 cases, while Russia is still managing to stay under the 1 million mark with a total of 992,402 infections. The last on the list is Peru, that has 639,435 infections. This is COVID-19 Myths and Facts. Welcome on board. On a happy note, the Commissioner for Health in Lagos State, Akin Abayomi, has recovered from COVID-19. Following the mandatory isolation period, the Commissioner retook a test which returned negative on Sunday evening. In a statement by the Commissioner for Information, Benga Omotosho, Professor Abayomi's latest COVID-19 test revealed that his body system no longer secretes the virus. And now for some tips and thoughts. Tonight, we are looking at the fact that people get recovered or they can heal, just like we heard from the professor of COVID-19, as well as look at what alcohol and sunlight has to do with COVID-19. Now, according to the World Health Organization, most people who get COVID-19 recover. They have mild or moderate symptoms and can recover thanks to supportive care. So if you have a cough, fever or difficulty in breathing, seek medical care early by first calling on your health facility by telephone. Also, drinking alcohol does not in any way protect you against COVID-19 and can be dangerous. In fact, the harmful use of alcohol increases your risk of health problems. And finally, exposing yourself to sun or temperatures higher than 25 degrees does not in any way protect you from COVID-19. This means you can catch COVID-19 no matter how sunny or hot the weather is. Countries with hot weather have reported cases of COVID-19. And scientists have expressed reservations on the rush to produce a COVID-19 vaccines, as there may be the tendency to roll out an inferior drug that will do more harm than good.
The Guardian reports that Sir Richard Peto, a professor from Oxford University and an advisor to the World Health Organization, says that the nationalistic and capitalistic sentiments surrounding the COVID-19 vaccine could force countries to launch less effective drugs in a rush to become first. Professor Peto warned that if a less effective vaccine is approved, then it will become very difficult to evaluate future drugs for the disease. He said that vaccine is urgently needed, but we need a vaccine that works and is also safe. This comes as the United Kingdom's Department of Health said that it will take emergency measures to push a vaccine as soon as possible before the end of the year. The United States president is also pushing for a vaccine so that he could launch it before the upcoming presidential poll in November. Russia recently announced a drug in what it claimed is the world's first COVID-19 vaccine. The vaccine candidate, named Sputnik V, has received widespread condemnation as Russia launched it without conduction of advanced trials on humans. Peter, who is a member of WHO's Solidarity Vaccines Trial Expert Group, said it is better to have no vaccine than a poor one, as it might worsen the ongoing pandemic and people would wrongly assume they are immune to the disease and would feel that there is no longer a need to follow COVID-19 restrictions.
Program tonight is Dr. Youssef Atlabu, who is a consultant, a hematologist, and the founder of White Cell Foundation. Thank you so much for joining in, Doc.
Thank you for having me.
So straight to the matter, there are dangers of producing less effective vaccines. The question is, why should this be so, given the fact that vaccines usually go through stages of test approvals and, for it to be okay, the green light? Why should we be afraid?
Yeah, thank you for the question. We should be afraid of this vaccine race, as I will call it, in which countries and superpowers are trying to outwit themselves in trying to be the first to be the one to have the vaccine for COVID-19. For every drug development, which vaccines actually also are, there are actually laid down stages of development. First, you need to try it at the preclinical stage, and then in the clinical stage where you can try it in humans. And even that, the first concern is safety of the vaccine. And so that's usually first tested before I will move on to getting more people to test the medication or the vaccine, as in this case, to actually show the efficacy of the vaccine. So the vaccine race actually would bring that challenge if every country, because no country wants to be a slave or servant to other countries. So they want to be the first to develop this. Currently, there are about 33 vaccine candidates that are already in clinical phase of evaluation, that is in clinical trials, and still about 143 in the preclinical stage. But the thing is, it's not enough to say, oh, it's just the very first person or the first country to develop it should be the only one. There should still be development of others. So there's nothing bad in having 2, 3, or even more than that number of vaccines, in as much they are safe and they are effective.
So how much technological advancement can play in on this, given the fact that, vaccines usually take, let's say, about 10 years plus, to go through the various processes, stages of trials, and before they are okay. Now we're in a rush to produce a vaccine to take care of this. Technology is involved. How much of it can be involved, to cushion this fear that we wouldn't have inferior products out there?
Yes, the technological advancements in terms of drug development and specifically in this area of immunotherapy, which is, try to use the immune system to be able to either prevent a condition like a vaccine is or to treat. There are actually advances in the development in this area. But the technological aspect of it can only lead to more like formulating the vaccination. But the actual testing still needs to go through the normal natural route, which is that you go through phases of clinical trial. So the phase 1 clinical trial, which is usually meant to check what levels or what doses are actually even safe. Then the phase 2 trials with few number of people to be able to see that is actually also safe and effective. Then a larger scale, which usually involves hundreds to thousands of individuals to actually take the vaccine before it can now finally be approved. So the clinical development pathway still needs to be followed, no matter what the technological advancements there may be. The other aspect to look at, even when it's eventually shown to be effective and safe, there's still the aspect of mass production of this vaccination so that it can be readily available in most parts of the world, particularly for the most vulnerable groups. So yes, technology can help advance the development of the vaccine, but still proper due diligence and normal protocols still needs to be followed to ensure that we don't get a vaccine that will not be that effective.
All right, let me throw one in at you before we leave. People have all kinds of theories about the COVID-19, and one of them is that when you consume alcohol, it somehow takes care of it. How possible is this, or how true is this?
Definitely not true. Alcohol consumption has not been proven to help with either prevention or treatment of COVID-19. Rather, on the other side, a number of health implication and health disadvantages have actually been shown with alcohol. So it's actually a myth that alcohol will help. We do know that the hand sanitizer do contain some level of alcohol, for it to be effective in killing germs, in this particular situation of viruses. But consumption of it has not been shown to be effective. In the other aspect, it's actually even detrimental, so it is not advisable at all.
Dr. Abayomi, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts on the program. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
All right, enjoy the evening. And that's our package on today's edition of COVID-19 Myths and Facts. Thank you for watching, and remember, whatever you do, stay informed and stay safe. I'm Onimisi Adaba. Good night.